Let me get my audio set up here. Get you here just a sec. All right, let's try this. Go ahead, Priya.
Hey, Bria.
Hello, how are you?
I'm doing good. How about yourself?
Good, thanks. So last few nights I wasn't quite sleeping very well, and so last night I took some Valerian oil, and I may have put like a couple extra drops in there. This morning when I woke up, it was a bit groggy, like a
Yeah.
heavy-headed kind of feeling, and I was wondering if there like an oil that would sort of help fix that in the morning if
Yeah,
that
like
ever
the
happens
groggy
again.
thing. Like that's the thing. Like if you take too much valerian, it'll make you a little groggy in the morning. And if you take way too much, it'll even give you like a little bit of a headache in the morning.
Yeah.
Um, so like the groggy thing, it's one of those things where which one's better, getting better sleep and being groggy or not getting as good of sleep and not being groggy? I would say the thing to wake up is use something like rosemary or peppermint. You could also inhale cinnamon, like you're just trying to jumpstart the processes of the body. Basil could be another one. Basil would be a little bit more for the mind, where the cinnamon's a good body like stimulant, like it just jumpstarts all the processes, as well as peppermint and rosemary. Just it kind of tones the sympathetic part of the nervous system and helps you to be more functional. So any version of that should do it. If you don't have
Yeah,
those, even time could be a thing you use in the morning.
yeah, yeah. No worries. Thank you for that. And also, very new last few days, my right leg, lower leg, the inside of the leg, there is a pain that comes and goes. It's not achy, but it's very sharp. It's like a burning sensation, and it just comes and goes. And it's happened like a few times in the last few days. I've noticed. I don't know what's going on, but
So it's on
yeah,
the right inner calf, like on the
yeah.
inside. But it doesn't feel like it's the bone. It feels it's like kind of close to the bone, but it's not the bone itself.
Nah, yeah, that's what it feels like. And it's like a burning feeling. And it just like for a second it comes and then it goes.
So most likely that is this muscle called the soleus, which, when you look at somebody's calf muscle, there's the muscle that you see, and then right under it is another calf muscle, and you really don't feel it until, even though it goes all the way across, you really don't feel it if you poke on the calf until you poke on the sides. And sometimes that gets really tight. Have you been grinding your teeth or your jaw? Or your jaw been real tense?
My jaw has I have been doing a little bit of unwinding of the jaw, but it's not, I wouldn't say that I'm doing it every day and making a lot of time for it, but it's always really tight. In fact, I've realized that
Yeah.
no matter what other
Okay.
protocols I do, my jaws feel
Always are
super
tight.
tight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I think we're kind of talking about that a little bit in this coming up weekend and the cultivating regeneration. But part of what you're wanting to do is there's three muscles that contribute to the grinding of the teeth, like the jaws being tight. And so, there could be other reasons, but they're usually a reflection of like tension in the nervous system, when there's like a stress or a difficulty that you might be dealing with. I would say more people have jaw issues than don't. I would say probably 80 or 90% of the population has a jaw issue of some sort. Um, the thing that I would say to do is, we can try focusing on the area, but you'll probably want to do things to like kind of calm down the whole part of the nervous system that's, contributing to that. And so, you can put marjoram on the calves, but I find that like larch, and you do larch, like put your awareness on the neck, put your awareness on this area below your chin, like under here. and then your calves, and just keep inhaling and rotating on all three. And it should take down the tension in the nervous system. You know, I'll show you the muscle if you want.
And so I'm not inhaling all three at the same time. I'm
No, do
rotating.
one at a time. Yeah, and just, do you ever get like little like spasms underneath in your jaw under like
It
it's not
just
quite your
feels
chin, but
tight.
like under here?
It's not spasm. It just feels tight. Even when I'm
Yeah.
meditating
Okay.
or blessing or I don't know, it just always feels really tight.
Yeah. Okay.
And Robert did post the scoliosis trigger points in chat.
Oh, did he? Like, yeah, that's perfect.
Is that what you wanted?
Like
Yeah,
even right now as I'm talking to you and in the pause when I do my normal breathing, I
Mhm.
feel that tightness where you're saying right under the
Yeah.
chin area.
Yeah. It'll take a little while because it's not superficial. It's actually kind of a deeper muscle in the neck. And so if you keep inhaling up in that area, like, up in there, and then the neck itself, and then the calves, like just the backside of your calves.
Yeah. And so the spasm that you're talking about, I feel that right under my both sides of the jaw.
Right. Yeah, it would shoot pain or tension. Yeah. So do neck, do here, but also do the jaws themselves.
Yep,
Yeah.
no worries. I can do that. And so I had purchased the brain waves class last year,
Mhm.
and somehow I only just did it last week. And oh my God, I was like,
Yeah.
why did I wait so long?
Yeah.
It was like such
Yeah.
a nice feeling. And the stomach problem that I was having, it reduced a lot. My tummy is not making as much rumbling. But then what happens is if I'm going out or if I'm just about to be in a situation which I'm super nervous about, it sort of comes back and I can feel that it's related to stress. My stomach problem is related to stress.
Right.
And not just that, but I could feel like a subtle vibration or I don't know, spasm side, like my liver area,
Mm-hmm.
all the right side mostly, and that is when I am just about to be in a place situation which is making me super nervous. So something triggers.
I would try using, let's have you try using spikenard and doing that brain and then brain spine and brain soles of the feet.
Yeah,
Like do
okay.
that a bunch. Do that a bunch.
Yeah, I can do that. So I mean, the good thing is at least I know that this is tummy is stress related and nothing
Yeah,
else.
exactly.
But yeah, no worries. Thank you so much. I will
You're
do
so
that.
welcome.
And then go ahead, Lolly.
Hey,
Hey, how are you?
doing good.
Okay, let's see. Well, let's start with follow-up on all the stuff that's going on with me. So the pins and needles situation. We talked about using Melissa on the body and then using Yarrow internally. I just got the packet yesterday, so I started doing that only yesterday. So far, it doesn't seem like it's doing anything.
Mhm.
Interestingly enough, the only thing that ended up working before that, because I had a few days before we talked and before I received everything yesterday. I don't understand why, but the only thing that actually seemed to be working is like an homeopathic version of St. John's wort.
Hmm.
So taking the oil, didn't really do much, but for some reason the homeopathic version did. And I haven't taken an homeopathic stuff for a while, but I was like, I don't know. I'm like, let's just try. I don't know. So I've been doing the same things I've been doing, use the homeopathic stuff, and I've been doing the last couple of days, I've been doing the nerve soothe on the body, taking Yara internally. I don't know what else I can. Last night, what I did notice is I went to bed later again. It was worse going to sleep.
So you just started treating with the stuff you got today?
Only yesterday.
Yesterday. Yeah, I would still give it a while. Yeah.
Yeah. Anything else and then I just
Not
added
until
like
you
some,
exhaust that. Like I'd like to see you do that for a little while before. Yeah.
and on top of the bodysuit, should I use like anything else, like ointment, oil? Because it seems like by itself it just doesn't. So just give it time.
You keep thinking about it like it's a symptom. This is a
But
condition
it's,
in the body. You're having to
yeah,
recondition the body. So this instant, even the kind of grinding on it is actually aggravating it. Like you just are going to have to treat the body for a while and have it shift over a period of time. Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's
So yeah.
it's not a symptom. It's a reflection of condition, like the state of your body.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, but I've been doing all the things, trying to get more sleep, and okay. So
Yeah.
I'll just keep doing that. So thank
Mhm.
you. Another thing that's a little bit of a follow-up. So my brother-in-law had a car accident. When was it? Like about a month ago. Open fracture, the ankle. He had 3 surgeries. He has some stuff that they put inside, and now he's in now he has a boot that he wears all the time except when he's taking a shower. And they kept saying like, he's taking medication, he's taking painkillers, nothing is working, he's still in pain. Only last night I realized the reason it's probably not working is because he's not in pain. He has pins and needles on the bottom of his foot. So I gave them like different ideas on what to do, but and I can send some stuff that can get there in like a couple of weeks if I need to send something. She has all the like the kids oils, so I told her, you know, to put chamomile on the wrists and even inhaling. And
yeah, the big two would be black cumin and galbanum. Yeah, black
that's
cumin
what you meant.
and
Now,
galbanum,
which
either topical or internal.
Even for that, you would just do those. Anything else that he can put? So
well, with something like that, he's got trauma and he has inflammation. That the inflammation needs to be reduced, and the nervous system is you know responding to pain, and so you just got to calm all of that down. And so you know that's the thing, going back to even with like dealing with the state of a body rather than just the symptoms, is you know an injury like that puts the body into a degenerative state that you know even though a month goes by or a year or 2 years and it just doesn't go out of that defensive state. And so the black cumin helps with reducing inflammation, but it also helps to stimulate the body going into rest and repair mode. And you know that was a pretty significant injury, and be it on the site, you really can't treat anything because there's you know pins and there's you know things where it was open and he's got the boot on or the cast. And so you know treating the inflammation and helping the body go into rest and repair mode, and then the galbanum helps with the pain threshold and the spinal thalamic tract. I mean, he could rotate between spikenard and galbanum, but like the calming down the spinal thalamic tract and calming down the body is you know the big task right now, because his body is in that you know injured state.
Exactly, which is what I was kind of explaining via text to my sister. Now the thing is that as much as I can try. And I haven't even communicated with them for a few days because I didn't want to push too much. But if he's not open to taking something internally and I still want to do something on the body, would anything be like, because I was like, yeah, work. I even told her, no, if you have something with peppermint, just work on the spine and work on other areas. Is there something else that can be like, if he doesn't want, if he's not going to take those internally?
I'm not sure I even understood the question.
So if we're doing something topically on the body,
Mm-hmm.
what are my other, so you would do galbanum
You mean
also
if he's
what?
not, if
If-
he's not really doing any of the other
Yeah.
things?
Yeah.
I mean, the galbanum can still go on the body. I mean, maybe a bunch of blue healer up above, where the boot is, but that's probably about it.
So none of the other like nerve help, nerve soothe type of things are not going to be like in other areas, just for the entire nervous system is not going to be.
You got to reduce the inflammation. Yeah.
So the inflammation is so it's coming from, and my sister also said when he took the boot, she put her hand on his ankle and she could actually feel it moving inside.
Mm-hmm.
So that's inflammation more than.
I don't know what but like an injury like that, the thing that you're needing to treat is inflammation.
So the feeling comes from the inflammation in a combination of like the nervous
Yeah,
system.
the inflammation, everything's inflamed, and then things are also compressed. The lymphatic function is down, which is making the nerves more hyperreactive, like the sensory nerves are firing at a much more rapid rate. You have hardly any lymphatic movement in that area. There tends to be fascial inflammation as well, which begins to shut down the lymph nodes and everything. And so, as much as you try to treat the symptoms and all this, if you don't reduce the inflammation, none of the other body processes really work too well. So, like the goal is to reduce inflammation as much as you can. It could be ice, it could be, but if he's got a boot on, you really can't do that. Sometimes they give them a steroid or even ibuprofen or things like that. You can use digestive enzymes in between the meals. That would also have an anti-inflammatory effect. But bottom line is the thing he's wrestling with, even if you look at the symptoms, those symptoms can happen for a lot of different reasons. And so keeping the body calm and reducing inflammation are the two big things. It's like when you get an injury, you do RICE, rest, ice, compress, and elevate. And all of that is you're fighting the inflammatory response. You're trying to calm down the inflammatory response and let the body heal. And that's like his thing that he has to do.
Yeah. Because I even started like troubleshooting with whatever oil she has, even opening the whatever it may be, the chest to get him more relaxed, to get him more. But the inflammation is the
inflammation is if you're trying to like, it wouldn't be so much relaxing that area, but relaxing the person as a whole, like
that's what I was
like tarragon and things like that.
Yeah.
He could inhale that. It would be better internal, but he could still just inhale that. But the inflammation is still the big thing you have to address.
And then with marjoram, because it does, my dad can give him, I have a marjoram body tonic. Would that be like applying that in other areas of the body would help in any way, or it's not gonna, it doesn't matter?
Probably make him feel nice, but it's not going to address the issues that he's got. I mean, it's comforting, it's soothing, it takes some of the tension out of the body and some of the spasms and things. Sure. Yeah. But it's not going to contribute a whole lot to the area.
Yeah. And when you apply, and like even with marjoram, when you applied it, would you even apply that like to the bottom of the foot? That's the actual issue, or no?
If you're able to apply anything there, I would do anti-inflammatories.
Okay.
Yeah, by
Okay.
far. Yeah,
Okay. Okay. Thank
yeah,
you.
yeah.
And then another thing that I was wondering about is chilblains, which is a condition that you get on the fingers from the cold. Which, well, given that I'm always very cold, it's something that I've dealt with in the past, and I had that coming up again the other day. And I'm wondering, is that what would be a good, I mean, again, we're going back to the state of the body, but still, if I want to treat it as a symptom as well.
Black pepper is usually what's used for that.
Black pepper? As an ointment?
You could do it just like neat, or you could do it if you wanted to put it in an ointment or something and then just really rub them in. I would say a lotion might be a little bit better, but I would say even with that, I would do a manual mix where you do 5 or 6 drops of the oil with a little bit of lotion and then rub it together and then rub it into the hands. Like do it like that. Yeah.
Okay. And that's what it's waking up, like it's
increasing circulation.
Okay. Oh, which is why something like spikenard is not going to give me the same result, because it's not. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. Like that, you're needing to increase circulation to the area. Yeah.
Okay. And it's good for me to have like options to work with because, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that would be very uncomfortable.
Oh my God, yes. Yeah. And it's a different feeling than like the somewhat eczema situation that I've been using the spikenard for. But okay, so black pepper, I'll add that to the list of things. And then looking at a couple of the sinus blends, there's sinus health, and then there's sinus support. Sinus support I know is with the ORIC programming, but I'm still wondering, what is the difference? When would you use one or the other, and how would you?
I mean, you could use them a little bit interchangeably as far as treating the sinuses. The sinus support was made specifically for the aura and the auric programming and toning down the nervous system a little bit. If you're just trying to treat the sinus issues directly, I would probably do sinus support. Or no, sinus help. I'm sorry.
Okay. What's in the sinus help? And is that one that you can just even put, if it feels like it's really stuffy and everything, in addition to like inhalation, can you also just put it in the nostrils?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Like I just put a drop and then like kind of go like, yeah. Yeah.
And you would do it mostly with the sinus health and not the sinus.
You could do it with either one of them.
With either. Okay.
I mean, I don't talk about that too much, but I do it a lot myself. Yeah, sinus health is rosemary, verbenan, hyssop, galbanum, eucalyptus radiata, frankincense, basil, and marjoram.
Okay. And then, and I guess so then what's in the other one, the support?
It's larch, anula, rosemary verbenan, helichrysum, and bay laurel.
Okay. So then working with them kind of interchangeably, and then, but still, and the other one would be more for the programming. Okay. Okay. Thank you.
The second one, the sinus support, Because part of the issue with sinuses that are chronic sinuses is there's like usually the part of the nervous system is in a bit of like a stress state. And so that idea of working the stress support is it's working the auric program, but part of what it's doing is it's attempting to calm down that part of the nervous system so that the sinus issues don't get exaggerated. It's calming them down. It's like a lot of times if you look at, like, if you were to scan or look clairvoyantly when there's a lot of sinus issues, there's a lot of stress in that area. A lot of stress. And so even if it's allergies or whatever, and so part of what you're doing is you're trying to calm down the stress response to a certain extent so that the inflammatory energies don't get so stuck in that area. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Sometimes when I start to get we'll be traveling and I'll start to get a little like stuffy or whatever, and I'll hit it with, even just larch, something that just pulls the body out of stress, and it'll clear up usually kind of quickly, not even really targeting the sinuses themselves. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. And then another one is, so I have kind of a client at this point, but somebody I've worked on quite a few times. She has like this ongoing thing. I don't treat her on a regular basis, but every now and then something comes up. She's like late 60s. And she doesn't take any medication at all. And overall, she's healthy. She has a very old neck injury that kind of tends to flare up. She gets cold every now and then. Every now and then she has some stomach stuff. These things tend to flare out when she's more anxious, when she's under stress, and I've been treating her with energy, and she's very receptive to energy. And also because she lives in Israel, but again, she's actually visiting, so I can actually send her some stuff. So that's fine. She's been working a lot with peppermint, and she really likes it because that's the only one she like has around. And I taught her like how to do different things with that, and she's like very happy. And I'm like, okay, what else? Like I feel like we need to do like something else. It's like an ongoing thing that's helpful for the
So she has
neck.
anxiety, she has a neck issue, she has digestive issues, and what else was it?
I think it's pretty much that. Like overall, she's fine, but I think the stress levels tend to come out.
I would treat the vagal tone. Like all of that sounds very vagal tone oriented. Like anytime there's a neck injury or a neck issue, vagal tone is always an issue. And so right there, that then she's having digestive issues and she's having anxiety, those would also be reflective of poor vagal tone. And so I would even guess she's probably having a little bit of palpitations when she's having anxiety, and probably a little bit of a respiratory issue, not necessarily like sick, but like she's probably got tension in her diaphragm and her breath is kind of short and shallow, real rapid. At least more rapid than what it is for her. And then so you could calm all of that down, treat the neck. You could just probably use vagal tone to do that.
So
I kind of like the idea of even using a little lantana because that would open up the lungs and the bronchioles, but it also loosens some of the neck as well. And so I'd say maybe the two of them. And then like a lot of times with poor vagal tone, you also have tension in the bronchioles. And so some way of opening the bronchioles, the easiest way is applying larch to the body. and then just doing a little inhalation. But if she wants to do it with something else, all the oils that unwind the bronchioles, hyssop, sitka, anula, omivistnaga, German chamomile, all those greatest hits from that kind of thing. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Okay.
that would be
And
good.
so yeah, so the
That's
lantana
how I
was.
would treat it.
So yes, I was thinking of the lantana spray, and the body tonic, the vagal tone body tonic. She actually tried a few times because it's actually my dad's girlfriend. So she has that, and she tried it a few times, but she hasn't been consistent with that, which is not
Yeah,
gonna.
it should. I mean, it should help her to start relaxing even of the first application, but it would get better as she treated it. She might need to cover more than just the neck. I don't know where she's putting it, but the neck and like down the torso would be good. And then at
Okay.
the same time, I'd probably do like put it on and then still work the bronchioles a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
And
but there
what if?
looks like there's some low emotion stuff that could get flushed out as well.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
if she's living in Israel with everything going on, it's just probably in the air.
Yes,
I
and
mean, like I
that's
would say some sort of maintenance for that.
yeah.
It's gonna make all of those things, even if they were there, I can't imagine being in a war zone, but like that would probably amplify things quite substantially.
Right, and her
Yeah.
default is a lot of that as well. So the combination of the two
Oh my
is
God, yeah, that would be my default if I was over there right now.
yeah,
He's sitting in the corner going, okay, everything's okay. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, exactly.
I
And
can't
so
even imagine.
and the other thing that came up, and I'm wondering if that could be beneficial, is that tarragon, because of like the digestion stuff that sometimes
You
comes
can
up,
do
and
tarragon,
because
sure.
of so would you
I mean,
and
it's still very toning to the nervous system. It's good for digestion. Um, I would say unwinding the vagal tone would be the first thing, and then if the digestive stuff was still lingering, it would respond better to treatment.
mm-hmm,
And I would start probably just with ENS support or like some ginger or something just to kind of clean up the digestive tract.
mm-hmm,
But the vagal tone might shift it just by itself.
yeah,
That and a little bit of work on some of the emotions. Just however you want to address that.
yeah. And then so basically the vagal tone body tonic, lantana spray, and then one of the other oils for the breath.
Instead of the lantana spray, I would actually have her inhale like a little thing of lantana, have her inhale it into,
Oh, okay.
yeah, like it would still relax the neck, but like you really want to unwind the bronchioles as many different ways as you can.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, and basically I can even do like the mini sizes, so it's
Yeah.
easier for her, and just if she's doing inhalations. Okay.
Sure. Yeah, sure.
Okay. Okay. Perfect. Thank you so much. Oh, last
Usually,
question, and that's it. Mastering the elements, the 2.0. Any idea when I have to catch up on the last one, so I'm kind of trying to plan ahead. Any idea when that's coming up?
I haven't like thought about like, oh, I'm gonna drop it again, like the 2.0 version. It probably like by springtime sometime.
Oh, okay. So it's not like right, okay. So I have time to like catch up and
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, we're not going to be
Good.
jumping on it any time. We have a series of like some free classes, and we're going to be um, going over some of the new material for the people that took the ORIC programming through the holiday,
Mm-hmm.
things like that. And so we're going to be kind of tied up a little bit
Oh no, that's exciting.
with doing
Okay.
some of those things. Yeah, and then after all that comes down, then we'll kind of go back and revisit some of those other. Yeah.
Okay. Perfect. Thank you. Yeah, and it's gonna be nice to just go over all the materials, all the new material that you've been
Yeah.
studying the last few months to
Yeah.
kind of
Like
digest.
I have to like not think about it too hard because I had got it almost all done and then I lost it in my computer somewhere. My computer just deleted a bunch of things.
Oh my God.
And so I'm recreating it and I'm trying not to cry sometimes doing it. It was a monumental level of work and it just is what it is. I have to not think about it and shake it off and move forward. But
Yeah.
Hopefully within, I'm going to be giving you guys like the thing on the org program where you can look it up by conditions. I should have that done again here pretty quick. It's getting there. It's almost done.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
it's pages and pages of information. So then you can look at things and conditions and then create your own stacks, not just by like figuring things out. You can just look things up and go,
Mm-hmm.
there you go. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
it's
Perfect.
a lot of tedious
Oh yeah.
work to get started, but once it's ready for you guys, it'll be good.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Yeah.
That's exciting. Thank you so much.
You're so welcome.
And Chris, give me just 1 second. Thanks for waiting there. Go ahead, Chris, then Deborah.
Hey, Chris.
Oh, I wasn't ready. Sorry, I thought there was someone before me.
There
But
was.
oh, okay, cool. I didn't want
Holding
to
your
cut
spot.
in on anyone. Hey, Greg. Continuation of our conversation last week. I found out a little bit more. So need to
That's right.
troubleshoot.
What's
This is the person who had that. What we thought was trigger point related. Remember you showed me the trigger point areas to,
oh yeah.
yeah. There was
Yeah.
this kind of thick ropish kind of
Mhm.
energy around his, yeah.
Mhm.
So found out a little more.
Mhm.
So he shared that he's being treated by a physician, and because he has severe digestive issues
Mhm.
where he excreted some worm-like parasites, spaghetti looking like,
Yeah.
but he still feels these things moving around sideways in his stomach, right? Not up and down, sideways. And then when he does certain meditations like Kundalini,
Mhm.
he feels like he feels like his body's being poisoned
Mhm.
and electrocuted simultaneously.
Mhm.
Um, 1 second, I have more. So there's constipation, there's bloating, there's back and hip tightness,
Mhm.
and nervous system issues and restless legs
Mhm.
connected to all that.
Mhm.
In terms of treating the physical parasite, would you go towards cinnamon or clove
Yeah,
or
the
cardamom?
physician's treating the parasite.
I think it was quite a while ago, months ago. He's
Mhm.
done with that. So he has these cravings, right? Which we all have cravings.
Right.
Yeah.
So when you treated the trigger point, how did he do and what came out?
Oh, our appointment's not till next week.
Oh, I would still do the thing that we talked about.
The
Yeah.
trigger point.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so
Because the
I'm,
thing with trigger points is he is packed full of lower emotion, homeostatic
mm-hmm,
emotion, to
mm-hmm,
the point where even just trying to flush it out, you're going to have to flush out areas in his body where it's stuck.
mm-hmm.
And like when I look at him, I think we talked about doing the quadratus lumborum, like that low
Yes,
back area. He's
correct.
got a ton of energy, a ton of emotion stuck in that area.
Yeah.
And so no matter what you do to the gut, if that area doesn't get addressed, it's not, I mean, for one, it's going to be hard to address anyway, because the
Uh-huh.
body's not going to shift because it's so impacted with lower emotion. And
Yeah.
whenever the body's impacted with lower emotion, the body doesn't really heal. It doesn't really shift. There's a lot of tension. There's a lot of neurological dysfunction. There's a lot of compression of areas with the fascia and things like that. Throws off the lymphatic system and the cognitive function in the brain. And so it starts making the production of the lower emotion substantially worse. And so, sometimes you can just flush emotion, that homeostatic emotion, because a lot of it's like stuck in the body,
Mm-hmm.
but it's also going to be like in the chakras, it's going to be cords, it's going to be good cords full of, not so good energy.
Yeah.
All of that is homeostatic emotion. And body tension is going to be reflected in that, and all of that is going to cause digestive issues quite substantially, even throw off his breath and things like that. And so it doesn't mean, like for me, when I see something like that, I go to a couple of the big muscles that I see that are holding the emotion, the
Mm-hmm.
homeostatic emotion, and I clear that up. And a lot of times that makes the energy start moving in the energy centers. But
Mm-hmm.
right now, even if you try to do like even just healing on him, the energy is so impacted in his body. You're not really, it's like you're scraping the surface of something. You're not really getting into where the issues are deeper in the organs and things like that. It's staying all very, very superficial. So, like that one's the worst, that quadratus lumborum. He's
Oh,
got
is
some
it?
stuff, yeah, he's got some stuff up in his neck that's not too good, but given the area and the location, um, if you opened up that quadratus lumborum for a bit, it would start moving energy down in that area. You'll probably still have to do a couple others, but that quadratus lumborum is probably impacted 7 or 8 times as much as like all the surrounding muscles. So that is, for whatever reason, holding a ton of
Charge. Yeah.
lower emotion and things like that. And so I would just unwind that. I mean, the thing is like when you go through and you unwind it, it's going to make the emotional body, like the solar plexus, it's going to make the solar plexus release, it's going to make the throat release, it's going to make the crown release. Probably stuff will come out of the spine, but it might come out of other areas,
Mm-hmm.
so that by itself will probably take a good session or 2 sessions to unwind it.
Mm-hmm.
The area that I would pay attention to is also the liver. Anytime that the energy body has been really impacted, that when you start to unwind it, you know, the aura is kind of impacted, and so it has impacted the body. Like it's condensing on the body. And so as you
Mm-hmm.
kind of unwind it, it unfolds, but that impaction over that period of time is still stuck in the tissues. And the one area that really holds a lot when something like that happens is the liver. So you'll notice that you'll shift the liver and the energy field will start to release more. And so you can go through and clean the field out again. And you just go back and forth between the liver and the aura. Um, and it's a way to refine the energy body because the his energy body is super impacted, super
Yeah.
super impacted.
Mm-hmm.
And so even just sweeping the aura and like the health rays, just working those two components isn't going to be enough. Like yeah, there's areas it's almost like it's anchored in his body in a way, and you have to kind of go unfluff those areas for it to start like expelling out.
Mm-hmm.
And any time that the body is not able to expel something out, or mm, the homeostatic emotion, because homeostatic isn't his higher emotion or his mind. It's like the body's generating these emotions, and it's more like a motivating thing to help him take action in the environment. It's just at some point it causes too much problem. But the more that you unwind that, the more that the body processes will start to like normalize. And so then you can kind of start chasing after the symptom. But I'm sure the worm thing was pretty
Traumatizing.
steady. Yeah, like
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
probably more in his head than it is in his gut.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's all, I'm thinking it's
So
more like, oh, you
I
have,
would make the gut feel better, but I wouldn't focus on the thing that he's saying. That seems more like you know, he's a little bit more freaked out. And it doesn't mean he's not feeling sensation down in the gut, but that's probably more anxiety than worms. You don't have the you don't have the sensory nerves in the gut. So like you could go in and take a scalpel and open up his whole, intestine and liver and,
and feel
whatever.
it.
He would not feel a thing.
Yeah.
Like, we don't have the nerves that way. The only time we start to feel something is when there's like a twist or there's a compression or there's like a lesion, something like that. So most likely, and I mean, it doesn't mean that there's not something there, but if the doctor treated it with the meds and that was a while ago, he's probably just got a little PTSD kind of, thing going on where um, he keeps thinking about like, is that there? Is that not there? And
Yeah.
the
It's
term
almost like phantom
hypo,
pain,
yeah,
right?
it's the term is hypochondriasis. Is
Hypo.
just like you keep touching your tongue to that sore in your mouth. You're like, you just keep touching it. Like his mind
Mhm.
keeps going to the thing, and like in that, it produces a stress response.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I mean, it's very normal. Like I wouldn't read a whole lot into that. That's super super normal. So I mean, it's actually just a stage of pain.
Mm.
You have pain, it turns into chronic pain, you have bronchial spasms, and then
So
the
his
body
up would
can
be good, right?
what's it?
His up would be good for that. The
Yeah, any
bronchioles.
time that there's a lot of pain and everything, yeah. Hyssop would be good.
Rue?
Fascial release would be good.
What was that, Greg?
Fascial release.
Fascial.
Yeah.
Oh, isn't there like an auric um
Yeah, it's in
oil
the
for that?
yeah,
Fascial.
yeah, yeah.
Is there an auric oil that's equivalent to rue?
No, you're doing something different there. Like Rue is like cutting cords by shifting the nervous system, where the aura is you're working the aura. So it's a different animal. The closest thing you're going to get to that is connection support, but it's doing something very different.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So, still with the topical for nerve health, right?
Yeah, that's what I would do. Like the nerve help will help break patterns in his body. It will be very soothing. It
Mm-hmm.
it won't necessarily flush out the homeostatic emotion, but it will calm down the production of homeostatic emotion. Because like one of the big triggers of homeostatic emotion is pain. Like,
Mm.
pain, discomfort, um, instability in a joint, body being off balance. Like if you have an elevated hip, just that elevated hip, even if you're completely unconscious of it, is generating homeostatic emotion in the body. Like body misalignments cause a lot of that,
Oh
a
yeah.
lot.
I just had a chiropractic adjustment because
Right.
was feeling so off.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
then as soon as I got adjusted, it's like, okay, I'm back.
yeah. And see, you're like your body feels good, but you notice like all of a sudden it's like, oh, my emotions come down or whatever.
Yeah.
It's because your body's not triggering those emotional responses.
Hmm.
I,
So
I
in turn,
once
oh,
treated a lady that she presented as whiplash, but her husband had gone into a store and she fell asleep. Um, she fell asleep like with her head like in a weird position, because she was in the car, and nothing happened. But because of the weird creak in her neck and everything, she got like a kind of a PTSD kind of response, and she presented as whiplash at first. And when she told me what it was happening, I was like, I don't know that that's whiplash, but still the neck got injured, and you know what I mean? And it just caused all these things. She started getting really bad anxiety and all of this just because of some weird way that she slept. And so again, we unwound the tissue, and at first I treated the anxiety, didn't really do anything. But like the more that we unwound the tissue, the anxiety just went away without even addressing it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, so in terms of the supplementing the healing with oils from the auric programming, what would you recommend?
I for that,
I was looking through it, it's like, oh, okay, there's about 10 things here I can use.
yeah. You know what I would probably do is I would do that protocol that the anabolic state. Remember, didn't we do that in the newsletter or something?
Oh, like do the whole stack?
Yeah,
for
the whole
anabolic
stack. I
state?
would do
Okay.
the stack for the anabolic state.
Is,
So it's
is that an oil, the anabolic oil?
Greg did a whole stack. It was
Yeah.
in the newsletter. We put it in the blog. I'm looking for it.
Yeah, so it's 4 oils from the auric programming class.
Oh, cool. Okay.
So one's for the immune system, one's for the nervous system, one's for the endocrine system. And I want to say the other
Oh,
one.
good, because I have those in there. How about the fascia, Greg? I feel like there's
Yeah, you could
lot there.
add that. You could
Yeah.
you could add that. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not so much like
Oh,
for the auric program there. I would just do it into the body. Because the fascial release works for the auric program, but it also does some stuff in the body. For that, it'd be more about what it does to the body. Like he can just inhale it into the areas that are uncomfortable, into his low back. He could inhale it into his abdominal area. Part of what you're doing there is you're unwinding and releasing stuck energy in the body, which is his big problem. Is he's full of stuck energy.
Right.
And Robert actually posted that, so you
Oh,
can
thank you so much for
oil, so you can make the stack. At some point, I'm gonna start taking these stacks Greg puts, and we're actually gonna put them on the website just so you can purchase that stack itself. So that'll be great for you guys, and it'll be kit size, just like the what we have on the art programming.
Perfect. One more question, Greg. So I have this friend who's has stored a lot of anger for the Uncle Bob in her life, but she can't express it to the Uncle Bob.
Sure. That's
Personality
very
wise, right?
Yeah, very
And she doesn't want to blow up things, but I can see her body is always in this super hyper alert mode, and it's coming out in different ways. The anger is coming out in different ways and manifesting in different ways for her. So what would be a good go-to for her? I mean, she has tons of oils.
So you could do a couple of different ways, but like the thing that I like for this person is I would do a couple of things. I would do I would just start with like 2 things.
Okay.
So one, I'd have her use etheric chords, between her and her Uncle Bob or whatever.
Okay.
But I would do the thing, and we did it over the weekend, so there's even a recording of it, in the Revitalize and Thrive class, where we went through every chakra with the etheric chords. And the issue is you're diminishing not just chords and connections with a person, but also like there's other kinds of connections, events, active situations, but even just attachments to things that don't even make sense to the mind, that clears up. And part
Yeah.
of what that's doing is that's another way of releasing lower emotion or homeostatic emotion. And so in a situation with Uncle Bob, it's a lot of conflict. And so
Mhm.
even if she's not having the conflict, he's the conflict. And
Yeah.
so
Hurt feelings, so much
yeah, of course, like I can't even
resentment. Yeah.
imagine. And so you could do that and then have her inhale gingerly and then do it like on the Ming Men back heart crown. Just keep inhaling it by itself or do the pattern. And I would say like that combo right there could be
Hmm.
very helpful for her. I mean, there would be more things that I would add at some point, but doing the chords on all of the energy centers. A lot of times we're inhaling the etheric chords and we think, okay, this is nice, it's cleaning up my chords. And then we'll think of a person or a situation. But the stronger version of it is actually to go to the chakra and do it like that. The reason why we do where we think of the person is and the situation, the past event, is you're trying to pinpoint that part of your brain that's overstimulated with that person or that past event or whatever it might be. And so in doing so, you kind of calm down the brain, because part of the cord is actually the brain. The brain gets traumatized and gets like stuck in that and then maintains this kind of connection.
Yes.
And so you're unwinding that. But when you go chakra to chakra, you're unwinding things that are even beyond what the mind perceives as what the problem is. And it can be quite a shift. I go through and do that. I don't know. I
Is
say I
that
do it
what
once
sort
a
of free
week. Like
class?
sometimes I do it multiple times in a week and then I'll go a couple of weeks. But I mean, I have a bottle of etheric cords in my little shoulder bag. I have it in my bigger bag. I have one in front of my like on the
Oh,
coffee
me too.
table.
I have it everywhere. I'm
Yeah,
in
I
the
just
car.
in fact we even made a whole bunch for Samantha, and I was like, I made a little stack, and I was like, let's just pepper them through the house. So you don't even have to go look for it. You just pick it up and just start inhaling it. And I would have her do that a lot, like
Okay.
because part of what you're doing is you're disconnecting from the things that are making you feel not very good. That's external. And sometimes it's internal, but in some cases it's like you just keep unwinding that external connection, interaction, whatever that might be. And that person will, at first it might be the first time might be like, you know, it releases so much and brings so much to the surface. So like I just tell her like start soft, like and then follow it with ginger lily. But like when you kind of have done it a few times, you get in there and you really do it, and it's like I can tell when I haven't done it for a while. I'm like, oh God, I'm just feeling kind of funky, and my solar plexus is. It's like it's not congested, but I can feel something growing in there. I can feel the congestion, like it's coming. Winter is coming, and so it's not even that like it's the emotions that are getting stirred, but like if that's let go for a very long period of time, it will be a lot of strong lower emotions. And so
I think we're at that point.
yeah.
I mean, I left her place yesterday and I was like, why am I pissed? I'm not pissed at
Yeah,
anyone.
yeah,
I
yeah,
kind of took it on a little bit.
yeah, yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, Melissa would also be good, but I mean, if I had to do my top two, I would be chords and
I
gingerly
think
for
she
a
has
while.
that from you, a big bottle of Melissa. Yeah.
Oh, good. I
Yeah.
would have her take like 3 or 4 drops at least once a day, if not twice a day. Because, like, for
3 to 4.
one, it's
Okay.
gonna give her a sense of well-being. It's gonna help her feel good, but it also makes the heart like a little bit more resilient. Like it can take a punch more, You know, if it's taking a punch, it helps it to like get up and brush itself off and go, okay, let's do this again. You know, it makes the heart like kind of tough. And so
Yeah.
I really like it for that. Yeah.
Yeah, she needs that.
Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you so much,
Yeah,
Greg.
so,
Appreciate
and
you.
let me know if she needs anything else.
Okay.
Like that would be a good like phase for her, but that one's gonna take her a little while.
Okay. And that's the class this weekend is the free class, right?
So when he was talking about the Revitalize and Thrive
That
for
was
the
last
holidays,
weekend.
that was last weekend, and it was a free class as well.
Okay, cool.
And it's in
And-
the workbook PDF and
Last
recordings.
weekend was free, and this coming up weekend is free.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
You're so welcome.
And then go ahead, Deborah, then Megan.
Hey.
Hi, Greg. Hi, Sam.
Hey, where are you at these days?
That's always a good question. I'm in Florida and I'm packing boxes and um, undoing furniture, putting it in boxes. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So, but I just got back from a week retreat with Joe Dispenza. And it was my first experience with anything really about him. I kind of dove in.
I don't know who that is.
Oh, okay. So he has his own technique of meditation,
Mhm.
and one of his meditations is where he's physically forcing the Kundalini up. He doesn't call it that, and he creates. I mean, people are screaming and falling out of their chairs because of reaction of pushing this up so quickly and forcefully. So it's a crazy experience. And you know, I did the Arhatic yoga, and they talk and caution you so much about the Kundalini syndrome.
Mhm.
I wish you knew more about the Dispenza, because I was really looking for. It's like I don't understand how there's like no talk about that, and cautioning people to really clear it. They talk. You'd see people, because it was there was part of it was walking meditations. You'd see people on the beach just like, you know, puking their heads brains out, you know, and then hearing about headaches and all that kind of stuff. So I was kind of looking for your thoughts, but I also, when I walked away, I felt very discombobulated at the end, and my thoughts were very chaotic. And then I came down with it's either a mild case of COVID or a little bit of a flu that I'm working through. It's just, and I'm really conflicted about this whole process.
You're what about it?
Conflicted about this whole process. This whole.
I'd be careful.
Okay.
That says volumes. You know what I mean? Be careful.
Of volumes, what part of the story says volumes?
The be careful part.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Do you think that the vulnerability that I created in my energy left me open to be more vulnerable to the physical contraction of or are they totally separate?
I don't even know what are we talking about there?
So having done a week long, it was intense. You know, one day it was 5 hours of meditation, getting up, starting at 4 a.m. and going through. So by the last day, I felt really depleted, and I didn't run into other people that felt that way. And I'm wondering if that left my energy open to get this physical bug that I have, the virus.
Um,
Or you think they're separate?
no, there's probably something to do with what you did in the week.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for validating my intuition. I
Yeah.
didn't want to be a wimp.
Yeah, be careful there.
Okay. And
Techniques sound half-baked.
but he's really popular and does this stuff.
Popularity doesn't mean a thing.
Yeah, okay. Um and
Most people who are popular are just doing thing of reputation. Repetition doesn't necessarily mean they're good at what they do. It's easy to sell people stuff that doesn't really do a whole lot. The harder thing is the things that really do work. And so when somebody's popular, that's not a selling point for me.
um so he's been doing this for a really long time and sees results. I'm just concerned about people that maybe don't even realize some of the negative stuff that's being created from it. But I hear you. You're I was asking you because you're of your awareness. Um, so to deal with this, I'm still having like my house is at temperature 75 and I've got a jacket on. So um and I still have coughing and all that, which is kind of like how I've experienced COVID. So I'm thinking maybe it's a bit of that. I started inhaling Melissa. Anything else? I mean, I'm avoiding Tylenol, even though one day my head felt like it was going to burst.
I would take lots of salt baths.
Okay.
Yeah, balance out your energy body.
What about my energy body?
Balance out your energy body.
Okay. Thank you. And any particular oil in my bath,
I would probably keep it real simple, like
like
lavender.
sage?
Yeah,
Lavender?
lavender, eucalyptus, smithy.
Okay.
Some real super basic, but just to calm and soothe the body down.
Great.
So something with a lot of, soothing, cleaning but soothing.
Okay. Because the hives, and the doctor, I actually got a doctor to look at my shoulder, and she said it looked like hives to her. They've
Mhm.
it's stopped getting bigger, but it's never gone away.
Mm.
And I still have the sensation of, so if I calm down the body, that might help
Mhm.
that as well.
Mhm.
Okay. Terrific. Thank you.
Awesome.
And then go ahead, Megan, then Lolly.
Hey.
Hey, Greg. So I'm waking up about an hour before my alarm goes off again.
Which
And
is
I
what
just,
time? Which is what time?
well, waking up probably around 6 or a little before.
Okay.
Usually I
Okay.
should get till at least 7. Um, I've had this happen before. It feels like my hip flexors are really sore, like my low back, kind of like my bum, like my glutes, I guess, and then my
Sure.
hips themselves. So I just think there's a lot of like lower chakra stuff coming up, and I do pranic healing, and it all relaxes and feels better. And then 12 hours later, like it's all kind of back again. So maybe there's a faster way to just get it all flushed out.
Yeah, I mean, the back thing could be causing a little bit of, because when you start waking up a little earlier, you're having like part of how you wake up is your adrenals kind of kick in real low grade.
Yeah.
Um, and so they just are kicking in a little sooner, so like something can be doing it. And like, if the back is tight or a little bit of pain or, in the shoulder and neck, especially the low back though. And so, you know what I would start with is I would, put some things on your low back and your hips, like at night before you go to bed.
Okay.
I kind of like the bluer stuff, like, blue healer or yarrow or German chamomile, things like that, like on your low back and hip.
Okay.
Because they'd be antispasmodic, but they'd also be soothing, reduce inflammation. And then I would inhale Palo Santo, like right as you're going to bed, but like on the sex chakra and the perineum and the the basic, the Ming Men, the navel, just that whole like little lower area.
Okay.
And just like unwind that a little bit. And I bet you would sleep. You could even do the solar plexus, but like sometimes I find, I don't know why, but like if I put a little bit on my heart or inhale it, with my awareness on the heart before I go to bed, it also deepens the sleep. And I would treat it like that. And I think you could buy that time of that hour and a half before you wake up. It's probably just your back is starting to tighten up. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. When I lay there, like I try to just like visualize some healing but it takes so long. And by the time it starts to, because it will make me sleepy. I just like clean out stuff and I'm like, okay, I'm sleepy. And then my alarm will go off like 5 minutes after. I'm like, it just takes too long. So yeah, before bed would be much more effective. So Aryan is doing better with the protocol you gave him where, he kept like sneaking the technology, or we also have a snack
Mhm.
problem. I have to put like I have half of our snacks in my bedroom because he will just compulsively go eat just because he's bored. So it's helping. So I wanted to let you know. And I
What did,
like
what
I
did I have him use? I can't remember.
so vetiver, it was sex chakra temples, sex temples at the same
Oh,
time,
that's
spine
right.
and brain.
Yeah, yeah, I remember now. Yeah.
And it was, and so it kind of seemed better, but he was still doing a little bit of the same stuff. But I asked him this morning if he felt need, and he seemed a little calmer. Like I could just feel a sense of like a little more calmness in him instead of that
Mhm.
antsy stuff. And I asked him
Mhm.
if he'd noticed anything, and he's like, yeah, it seems like when I'm gonna do something, I think about, well, if I do that, I'm just gonna get in trouble and it's not worth it. And I was like,
So
yeah,
he's able to pause for a moment
yeah,
and choice. Oh, I
yeah.
love
I'm like, that is what we're going for. That's perfect. And yeah, so some of the thing, yeah, I've noticed like I got this small case of this drink he likes, and I'm trying to not have him have two a day and make it last. And I was looking over this morning and I was like, there's still some left in the box and it's not under lock and key. Like I put his Halloween candy in a locked box
Right,
because 2 years ago he kept sneaking in it. He ate the whole thing in like a week. He had a dentist appointment right after and he had like 3 cavities. His
right.
first 3 cavities of his life. So I was like, I'm actually locking your candy this year. And that was good. So thank you. So we'll just keep doing that. It seems like it's on the right track, so we'll just keep it. Thank you.
So give me just a sec, Lolly.
Yeah, it's good to hear about him.
Yeah.
That's cute. Okay. So the first one was what was it again?
The work stuff.
Oh, is it just gonna be the same?
Mhm.
Yeah, like
Okay, yeah, so I can read that part. We're okay. Yeah, so the work part is just, sorry, it's hard for me to find.
Your audio's on.
Good. No, we're good. We're okay. Thanks, Robert. Okay, so is it gonna be just like this for the rest of the year? And I need to just accept this and
Yeah.
not dwell on it?
Yeah. Yeah.
And the teacher acted out again.
Shocking. Remember, I said she's not done. Yeah.
That's funny, right? Chucky, oh my God, she acted out
Chucky.
again.
Oh my God, she acted out again.
My whole thing on that is like she just doesn't know when to stop talking, and she just keeps like emailing like nonstop, and like now it got to the point where the principal says, "I think you
That's
and
part of
I
why
need to talk."
that's part of why I told you to, like, remember, like, this is how to behave in this situation, because she's going to act out again. So you need to be able to show that it's her and not some weird
Right.
dynamic with you and everything like that. So you just go neutral, you just let it be, you do everything by procedure, and eventually what you're doing is you're going, here's some rope, you can make something. Oh, you're making a noose. Like, ugh. You could have made a belt, you could have made a fishnet, you could have, all kinds of things, but you know, pe- people like in situations like this tend to do the same thing over and over again. It's
Yeah,
very predictable. It's very, very predictable.
and one of the days the principal made a comment to me, and she says, "I'm fixing to." Uh, she just said something like that was not appropriate, but just she's just upset with her already. She's frustrated with her already, And so I was just like, can I
It'd be
just like
between her and the principal. Like, you just go, yeah, I hear you. Like, boy,
yeah.
you know.
So I'm just curious,
Everybody
like,
else
'cause
thinks she's a handful too,
yeah,
whatever it is, but let the principal be the one that handles that.
okay.
Yeah.
So my thing is like, this is her third year. Normally after the third year, like if you're not cutting it, they usually don't renew your contract.
Good. Okay.
I'm hoping she's going in that direction.
Yeah.
Okay.
Bless her with a better job.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Wish her well,
Yeah.
but over there.
Yeah, I know, right?
You know what I
Okay.
mean?
Yes.
Yeah.
And then go ahead, Lolly.
Hey.
Hey again. So you talked, who was that? Like a couple of questions ago, somebody was talking about anger. So what I'm wondering about is, it's actually my sister.
The one in Israel?
And yeah, there's only one. So yeah, the one.
When I was talking about the chords with, I can't remember who it was. I think it was Chris, or whoever. I can't remember. But going through the chakras, that might not be bad for over there. As I started thinking about it, I was like, I kind of like that, just because they're swimming in chaos.
Yeah.
I don't I don't know what it's like, but I'm sure there's parts of town that maybe aren't as bad as others as far as the conflict, but it just seems like it would be anywhere, anytime, any place.
Yeah, and it's also this weird situation that just got so used to it. Like you're in an abusive situation and you're used to that. It's
Sure.
kind of like that, and basically it's like fight flight all the time.
Honestly, I can't imagine. I
Yeah.
can't.
And so with my sister, it's a few different things. She always had some anger issues, ADHD. She's been taking a lot of different medications for quite a few years, prescription stuff. When my mom passed about 3 years ago, the anger got worse. With all that's been going on recently with her husband, it got even worse. And she's probably aware of that, but maybe not so much. It's not like she's acting. we feel it around, and for me it comes from a lot of pain and a lot of stress, and she has 2 little ones, uh, and from all the people, she's the one that I'm not sure how to help her.
Will she do stuff or no?
Not so much.
Just,
That's a
just bless
problem.
under her feet. Just bless. Like do that
Which
thing where you hold the right hand up like this and the
yeah.
left hand.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And just bless below her feet. Like your awareness
Um,
just on your heart and just let that go.
and then if she were to do anything, so the ginger lily, if she were to like even put it on her wrists, because I mean it smells kind of nice, and maybe she'll be open to that. Would it be helpful?
It would help a bit, but it would be better if she directed it. But I mean, it would be better
Yeah.
than nothing,
Yeah.
you know. I mean, I do work things that way sometimes, but usually when I'm doing that, I put it on like 8 times a day and still, do that
Yeah.
for the time. And you know what I mean?
Mhm.
So just putting it on your wrist, it will have some impact, but it won't be like doing a process.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she's just a matter of like not finding the time and the kids and the
Yeah.
stress that she's,
Yeah.
but from all the options, that would be the best.
I mean, you'll just have to start playing with it. Like, I mean, that would be good. Melissa would be good. I even kind of like the idea of the etheric chords as I talked that out earlier.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd still like start small and just see what she'll do and see.
Exactly. Is there anything that I can have her put on her body? Like as a body tonic maybe, or something that's like an easier application in a way? Of like even or spray
Blue
that
healer,
might
blue healer as a body tonic would be okay. Yeah.
okay. And is there a spray that you think might be easy
Spray's
and
not gonna be strong.
not gonna be as
Like you're
it's
gonna
not
have to
gonna
get
do
in and
much.
affect the physiology. The spray is more like for the energy body,
Right.
and her body's too agitated. It
Yeah.
won't.
Yeah.
I mean, you could try, but I mean, it's not even worth like going down which one's going to work better.
Yeah.
It's like it will have a little bit of an impact, but it will be very short-lived.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, because it's like it's one of those like there's so much going on and I don't.
I can't imagine.
Yeah. And she's not really open to energy healing as well. But I'll just keep, blessing and doing the
Bless her, pray for her,
Yeah.
chant for her,
Yeah. Okay. I might even, maybe
Probably
I should.
the chant to use for her, like you don't even have to do it like this. You just like form the intention and then do the one for Tara.
Okay. Yeah, the one that you do when you do the org programming a lot of
Yeah.
times, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, very, very
Okay.
soothing. Om Rama Om would work probably as well, but I like the Tara one a little bit better for that.
Okay. Okay. I'll do that. Thank you so much.
You're so welcome.
And then go ahead, Jennifer, then Priya.
Hey, Jennifer.
Hey, how are you doing?
Hey.
So I have an autistic child that I'm working with, and um, we've been doing craniosacral Reiki energy healing, and she's making a lot of progress.
How old? How old?
She's about 14 years
Okay.
old.
Okay.
So nonverbal, started making eye contact, is actually not being sent home from school every day anymore.
Great. Good job.
So this is like I just saw her, third session I've seen her.
Mhm.
And so she's able to stay at school now the whole day. There's no issues with behaviors. She's making eye contact. She's starting to like produce sounds, and she just waved hi to me. I mean, bye to me on the way out tonight for the first time. So, and like did it without any prompts. So Mom is very excited and very pleased. And I tried some rue. I had her inhaling rue, and she really enjoyed it. I was actually running the energy and like focusing at the head and the feet, and she was calmed down and settled instantly. We've been doing all sorts of things together. I tried rue. I had her inhaling frankincense. I had her inhaling hyssop, and she was really drawn to the frankincense and hyssop.
Okay.
I don't really know. Mom is interested in doing some oils. I'm not really sure what to do or what to recommend or try. And I'm just looking for just something else to help her move along and
Yeah.
progress as I'm doing the other techniques.
Right. Hold on just
Um,
a second. We're gonna, because you have an ankh, right? You and I have had conversations about how to use an ankh.
yeah, I actually pulled out the ankh today, and
Would you be okay if you pulled out the ankh and used something there?
I did. I pulled it out today,
Okay.
and I
So
used the ankh. I used the ankh today to I put the ankh and directed it at her feet, and um,
the way
was
that we talked about, where you do the little acorn at the top, you look at that, and then you look through and then you just directed it.
yep, yep,
Okay.
and
So
that settled her down instantly.
yeah. It's okay. We already talked about it. Yeah. So do that some more, but you're gonna
Okay,
direct it at the sex chakra.
okay,
So like the thing is the sex chakra with autistic kids, it's very depleted. And so the sex chakra, part of what it does is it feeds the brain. And so
yep,
like the focus on the sex chakra, and then as you make the connection and it's energizing there, and you don't have to be very close, so that way you don't make the person uncomfortable. Like directed at the sex chakra, and then move your awareness while it's still being directed at the sex chakra, move your awareness to the top of the head, to the brain. And
yep,
by doing that, you'll direct the energy from the sex chakra to the brain, which is what you want. And
yeah,
part of the like how they won't make eye contact and their reaction is like the instinctual responses are real depleted, because
uh-huh,
the sex chakra being depleted, and then the brain is depleted. And so the energizing of the two will bring out more of their interaction and their behavior, but also calm them down and make them a bit more cognitive, you know.
okay.
Yeah.
So I've 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 been doing some of that. So are you saying just to keep repeating it and doing it more and more?
Yeah, I mean, if they'll use oils, they'll use oils, but if they won't, I get it. So the big thing there is with somebody who's autistic is you really have to rehab the sex chakra because it's very, 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 very depleted. And so you're not going to make it all better at one time. It's going to have to absorb and start to function better. And you want to keep moving it up into the brain. And so I would say over a period of time, still doing the arms and the legs and all that, the organs of blood purification, the lungs, liver,
Mhm.
kidneys, spleen, all of that's good, but the sex chakra would be the first thing I'd rehab, and then as that starts to do better, then I'd go to the back heart, the area between the shoulder blades, and then the back
Okay.
throat, and then eventually just focus on the crown and the brain. And when you do the crown and the
Okay.
brain, I'd also do like the back head and the sides of the head, and
Hmm.
work the brain component. But that would be at least a few sessions just right there. Yeah.
So I've been doing many of those things. So it's great that I I feel like I'm on the right track with that. Is there anything that I can actually recommend that maybe she can inhale to help her, like while she's at home?
Well, she's that way at
While
home.
she's at
Oh,
home?
I mean the big oil that would probably help her is expensive. You could do the spray, but it would be poplar balsam. And the reason being that you know how like cinnamon and peppermint jumpstart the body and it's like a body stimulant. Poplar balsam would be like a stimulant for the brain waves. And
Okay.
like if you were going deeper, you know, you could get a little tiny bottle. It doesn't have to be, you know, it's like 5 mils is pricey. But like, you know, we can make well like a little tiny bottle for you. That, you know, they would just they don't even have to inhale it anywhere. Like, you know, um, but that would help to jumpstart a lot of the brain function and then regulate some of the brain function, you know, without going through the different brain waves and all that. It would just keep jump starting all of that. And so, um, you know, that would help the cognitive processes, that would help some of the body processes. But, you know, with what you're doing, I would do the ankh thing for a little bit and see how they respond.
Okay.
And
Okay.
then, you know, because you could always do a spray as well and just spray the person down
Okay.
with poplar. You know, that's another inexpensive way to do it.
Okay.
So that could work, but it would need to be done consistently for a little bit. And you know, you're already, you know, supporting parasympathetic activity with the cranial sacral stuff. I mean, anything you want to do that supports that is good. But you know, it sounds like you would have limited things you can do. And so I would keep it very simple and very short, whatever you have them do in between. You know, that might change as time goes by, but they're new. So I would say, you know, just keep it really, really simple for
Okay.
because it's the consistency. You know, that's the thing with holistic stuff is it's usually more consistency than a whole bunch at once. You know, you're just trying
Okay.
over a period of time, you know, shift the person so that it stays. And it sounds like you're on the right track. Like you know,
Okay.
you're already at, you know, number 3 and you're already having those kinds of results. You're on the right track.
Mm. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Thank you. And then I just another question. I have another
Mhm.
client who she has so she's in her 50s. She's divorced recently. She has a lot of just trauma, stress from
Sure.
that whole process.
Yeah,
And
I bet.
we've been doing meditations together. We've been doing just a lot of deep breathing and just doing some energy healing. And I just kept feeling like maybe some vagal tone might help her out. And it wasn't just to rub on the body. And I didn't know if
Yeah, she could inhale it or she could just rub it on the body. That would probably be good. Um, I kind of even like the Blue Healer body tonic for her. Like
okay,
it would be soothing. It would, It would regulate centers that are potentially agitated from the process.
Okay.
Kind of like that for her. And then I
Blue
also,
healer.
yeah, so just topical, like, if she wants to inhale something a little bit like that, that could be okay too.
Okay.
You can make a little tiny bottle of it and do that. But the other one is going back to the chords. Like I would do a bunch of just inhaling the chords. If she'll focus on different situation of people, that'd be great. But even if she didn't, just inhaling it would still
Okay.
flush stuff out. Because, going through a divorce, talk about dirty chords. That's
Sure.
going to be some dirty chords. And,
Okay.
so I would say, and the thing is like the more that they get cleaned up, it's like you go through and you do this thing and you get divorced and everything, and then as time goes by, that person's still in your head a little bit and you still think about them, and that conflict, even though it might not get acted out on, it still kind of rises up in the mind. All of that is connections in the chords. And so the
Okay.
more that she keeps doing it, she's really disconnecting from that person and that situation. And
Okay.
so it will keep the ex or that situation living in her head, like, or at least diminish it a lot.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what did you say to inhale to? Oh,
Blue
etheric
healer.
quartz.
Yeah. Yeah. Blue healer and etheric quartz were the two things.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. All right. Yeah, because she's overreacting to other situations, like
Yeah.
simpler
Yeah.
situations.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so every time she needs something she can put on her daily to help her out that she can just put on. And so I like the idea of
Right. So the
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 blue
blue
healer.
healer will calm her body or reduce
Hmm.
inflammation, but it also will calm the emotions and things like that. And it will even, because part of it is not that she's just upset, it's that she was dealing with somebody who's also upset, and then they're projecting energy at each other.
Yep.
So both of them, their bodies got super agitated and all that. And
Hmm.
so, like, it's just a way to calm that body down. Like, she just,
Okay.
all the stuff being projected and all the potentials and all the speculation and the things that get said and the loss, and you know what I mean? You just keep going down the line, and it's just super agitating to the whole body. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Fantastic. And then one more question. So, um, Ethan is doing
Hmm.
fantastic, amazing. He's like uh really making a great comeback with just his physical body and
Hmm.
feeling good and cognition. And he's going to be taking um chaga
Oh, great. Yeah.
and uh cordyceps
Oh, tremendous.
to
Yeah,
add
great,
on
great
to
combo. Yeah.
uh all the other like he's on some a good whole food nutrition supplements now.
Yeah. The,
And
the cordyceps will help him with the athletic part quite a bit.
yeah, so I'm trying to figure out like he's often he has uh I don't know if there's anything he can do or anything we can do to help him out with urinary leakage or
Sylvester
um
pine on the wrist. Sylvester pine on the wrist.
so just putting that on daily.
4 or 5 drops, like twice a day. Yeah. That's the best place to start right off the bat. And usually you'll start to see a shift within a day or two, but I mean, I'd give it like a few weeks, but that is always the first choice to go through and address that. Yeah.
So we'll possibly start to see less leakage is what I'm hoping for.
Most times you can stop it completely. Yeah.
Okay, even if it's part of like the spink, it's part of the
Yeah, it's
just
going to
the
be a little bit different with him, so we'll have to see. But I mean,
okay,
usually that is still the first place to go after.
okay. And then the other thing with him is his like lower body from knees down. There's the circulation is not good.
Mhm.
And he because sometimes he wears foot braces, sometimes he doesn't. Anything that he can put on his lower legs or do something to help out with circulation or increasing like sometimes his legs get a little bit red or they look inflamed, but then they cool off. And then other times there's poor circulation where they're colder, especially like in the winter time.
So they're getting like lack of blood flow, but then sometimes the blood is getting stuck.
Yeah, yeah. It and
So
then
you could do a couple of things. You could do joint relief just because part of what joint relief does is it increases circulation to an area, but then helps move blood out of that. So you could do that. You could probably even a little bit better choice would be to do black pepper and cedar mixed together and then applied to the legs because then you're getting circulation and then you're also getting return blood flow. The other thing that I would probably throw in the mix or even instead of is he having any blood pressure issues or anything? I don't remember him saying something, but
so he was when you first started seeing him
too
and
high or too low? I don't remember.
uh definitely high.
High.
Like
Okay.
um
So
and that's much better. It's just yeah, like that would
so
be an
I
area.
would put him on, and this is also something that would actually even help with athletics, is I would do a combination of Gotu Cola, like probably 3 capsules twice a day. And that's a very good venous tonic. So that's going to move blood out of his legs, increasing the circulation. Um, and then, because sometimes the poor circulation isn't just the blood going down, it's because it's not going back up. And then there's no room for it to come down. And so you kind of open up the loop so that if the blood's moving, then more blood's going to follow in. And there's a supplement called L-citrulline, and
Okay.
I'd have him do like probably two or three of those a day. And that culmination is you're moving blood up. It's a venous tonic with the Gotu Cola, but the L-citrulline will relax his veins. And so that's going to allow for greater blood flow to return to the heart and open up that like circuit down in the legs of the blood going down and then moving back up.
Okay.
The you might even want to try that before you even try the oils with the black pepper and the
Really?
cedar. Yeah, I kind of think that might be a thing for him. That he's young and already having blood pressure. There's probably like a vein constriction issue already. And so it's athletes do versions of this with the veins just to increase, oxygen and blood movement through the body. So it would help with his performance, but I'm guessing it will resolve that problem somewhat. And then after that, you can do spot treatment with the black pepper and the cedar.
Okay.
Black pepper would help, it's antispasmodic, but it helps get blood to the area. The cedar would also help push him back. Um, that blend warming muscle support. That's what that was originally made for, was like warm up for athletes. And I would just
Uh-huh.
put it like in a spray and then they would spray it on, because it's got like black pepper and cinnamon and stuff. So I try to do it so they wouldn't get it, on their hands and then touch their eyes or something. And so that could be used, but I like the idea of exploring the vein health right off the bat with him, especially since he
Okay.
did have a little bit of high blood pressure. That means that's probably what that is that.
Okay.
And you know, it'll improve performance and will probably help the leg circulation quite substantially, and then we can just augment with a little bit of the oil on the area.
Okay. So the joint relief hold off on probably and
Yeah,
start.
I said joint relief because that could be an option, but I'd probably just do black pepper and cedar instead of the joint relief. It's like if you had some, you could
Okay.
start, but I would probably just go right black pepper, cedar.
Okay. And then the Gotu Cola, 3 capsules twice a day,
Right.
L-citrulline 2 to 3 day.
Yeah.
It, do you have a suggested company or something that I could get it from, or should I just?
We do put links for
Okay.
really good ones from in Amazon. If
Yeah.
that's, we do,
Yeah.
evaluate them that way, and Greg, we put them up on the chat there for you.
Okay, cool. All right. All right. Thank you.
So
I'm kind of I'm driving, not really. I stopped, but on my cell phone, so I couldn't
And
really
you can
see.
always
So I'll do it.
email me if you want
Okay.
those or anything. No
All
problem.
right. Okay. Thank you so much. I so
so
appreciate it. Okay. All right. Take care.
And then go ahead, Priya, then Denise.
hey, Priya.
Hello.
Hey.
So, just before I ask my original question, something just popped up in my head while you were having this discussion with Jennifer. If we were to use the ankh for self-healing, can it be used for sex energy transmutation?
I would just do, you don't need to use the ankh for it. I would just do the sex, heart, throat, crown.
The
Just
back throat. Yep.
you could do it either back throat or front throat. Like you could either go sex, front heart, throat, crown, or sex, back heart, back throat, crown. Either way.
Yep.
For
Yep.
transmutation, either way. When you're doing other
Yep.
processes, one or the other is more important. But for that, the ankh wouldn't really augment that very much. You might do that transmutation if you were doing something else, but as far as just for the transmutation, I don't know that it would really help a whole lot.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
And so, thank you for that. If we were to do an emotional shielding, mental shielding, is there like an oil that could help with that?
Yeah. What kind of stuff are you trying to, like, with a particular person or just in general, or?
No, just in general, like, just if I'm going out or something and just want to do like a quick shield, and if I was to use some oils for it.
I mean, we have some stuff in past classes, but I'd say more specific to you. Hold on, let me see. Yeah, okay. I don't know about quick, but there's 4 steps. Let me post this for everybody if you want.
Okay. Hasn't come up yet. Yep. I think it might fit in the chat.
Oh wow, thank you.
Yeah. Like I said, it's not super quick, but
Yeah.
I mean, you could probably do it in 20 minutes.
Yeah, no, I'll make note of this one. Thank you so much for this.
You're so welcome. Sorry.
No, that's yeah, that's great. Thank you. One more thing I wanted to ask you. A couple of weeks ago, we were doing this practice. I think it was one of the Aspara sessions, and for the first time I did it, and it was quite powerful, where we are blessing with the left hand and the right hand is facing upwards. What is that practice? And could you
How about
share a
this?
little bit? Yeah, that was
Yeah.
totally different.
So
Something very new.
when you're blessing with your right hand, the tendency is for it to be more light, right? More light. And when you shift and you're doing the right hand as the receiving hand and the left hand like this, it's more love oriented. And so you're projecting more of a love kind of energy. And part of it is, yes, it's going into the earth, but also because the energy is flowing through you, it's very soothing to the body. And so the reason you don't just start off with that is that this has to have enough light to work. So a lot of times you would do something like that, or you do both. But when enough light's been generated, you actually start to convert that into like love. You know, that's that whole idea of that class at the beginning of December is, you know, we're working the spinal thalamic tract and how our body and our spine processes light and how that begins to convert into the love aspect. So deeply soothing the body, making the body be very peaceful and, you know, relaxed and non-reactive. And so, you know, this is a very short like kind of quick way to achieve that. But if like you just take somebody off the street, that might not be strong enough because there's not enough light there. But like when you've been doing practices for a while, the light's there, you can just go right to that. And so it's a way, you know, because the idea of loving kindness, we think of it as a thought or an idea or a behavior, but it's actually a state of the body. And by going through and doing that process, you're cultivating that state of loving kindness in the body. And loving kindness isn't just like, oh, I'm going to be nice to people, or I'm going to, you know, behave or be polite. It's the state where everything just calms down, everything is soothed. It changes how your energy body interacts with people. When people project negativity at you, it doesn't quite hit you the same way, you know. Um, that's why I even paused a little bit when you said the protection. It's like, well, you know, in theory, is if you work the loving kindness component, and you know, there's another way of working the will component, so that the will becomes refined. The protection thing almost becomes not necessary, but it takes a little while. And so, like when you said that, I was like, maybe let's do the thing where you said like the physical, emotional, mental for a little while. And then, you know, because it does take a little while to cultivate. And then over a period of time, eventually you don't need the protection. You know, your energy body begins transmuting things being projected at you, where really only the really nasty things get through. Like if it's just, you know, people around you, or even a little bit of people being upset at you, it just gets transmuted, you know. That's that whole thing with
Mm.
the love and light thing is it's a form of making your aura like transmute the negativity around you so that you know you don't even have to know that it's being projected at you. It just hits your field and gets flipped.
Mm.
Like I had this person who was super upset at me. And I honestly, we haven't interacted in years. I don't even know why, but I heard through the grapevine they were super upset at me. And in the old days when they would, grind on me or project whatever, it would hurt the body really bad. It would be like, oh God, my body, goes into that fight flight mode or whatever. And I could feel something on my body, but I was like, God, what is that? And when I would evaluate, it was trauma, but it wasn't my trauma. It was that person's trauma. But if you ask that person, they're super angry and hostile. They don't see it as trauma. They're just acting on that emotion. But so much of it got transmuted in my field. It was just their trauma was the only thing that really lingered. And so when somebody told me that they were upset at me, I was like, God, we haven't interacted in like 10 years or something. Like I don't talk about that person, I don't see that person, but it's something from 10 years ago or something. And so, you know,
Interesting.
stuff gets projected at us all the time like that. And a lot of times we don't even know, but
Mm.
your body will still react even though you don't know. And the more that it gets refined, the less impact that stuff has on you, the less reactive you become.
So when we say refinement, does it also mean that the aura is not strong enough?
Um, refinement would be a little bit more detail, like the spine, the spinal thalamic tract, the pillar of light is not strong enough. Like that area
Mm.
is too reactive. And then so after that, everything else just goes awry. So the more that you calm those things down and regulate them and open them up, it's also how we experience a higher consciousness. Higher consciousness is not something in our brain, but our brain begins to experience it, and then eventually our body experiences it. And a higher consciousness is divided up into waking, sleeping, and dreaming. Waking consciousness, sleeping consciousness, and dreaming consciousness. And so, we try to have a significant experience in all three. But a lot of times, even if we have a little bit of an experience with higher consciousness, it's usually in just one of those areas. And again, it's all tied to the spine, the
Mm.
the 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 spine and the brain. And so
Yeah.
as you begin to experience more of those different types of higher consciousness, the more it shifts your physiology and the state of your body, and your body, you know, it doesn't react to all the weird stimuli that gets thrown at it. Like it just kind of it, if you do that part well, your body starts transmuting things before even other processes start happening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I used
apart
to
from
do
all
this
the
thing. I used to do this thing a long time ago, like before the pandemic, where doing energy healing where people would take I'd have everybody clear off trauma in their field and throw it in the salt bowl. And I'd have them scan my hand, and then I'd stick my hand in the dirty salt bowl. And then I'd say which one had more gold. Like contamination wasn't there, but there would be more gold after I stuck my hand in the dirty bowl. And the reason why is because my aura would transmute it and then use it for building blocks.
Mm.
So like how the golden body forms in a person is it doesn't just like assemble things, it transmutes its way to being gold. Like that's what's happening is your body's just transmuting, 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 transmuting. And at some point it gets really good at it. And that person has the golden body. But it's not like things just get, like gold's there or physicalizes. It's that it got transmuted and got there.
Mm. Thank you so much. So, all the regular practices that we're doing as Tara's practice and protocols and everything, on top of that, if there was one thing that refines this spinal, the light, the vibration class that I have, is that the best go-to
Yeah,
for that?
yeah, like we're going to do a deep dive on that in the light and healing with light and love. Like that, it's
Yep.
all about the spine and the spinal thalamic tract and the different states of consciousness and yeah, it's going to be a strong class, really strong class.
Thank you so much. I just feel
It
so
should help you quite a
thankful.
bit. It should help you quite a
Yeah.
bit.
I'm very grateful. I think even in this last couple of weeks, like I've increased my practice time so much, and it's been very helpful. I can feel it that there's a shift taking place.
Good.
So thank you so much for everything.
So
I really appreciate it.
And then go ahead, Denise, then Lolly.
Hi, Greg.
hey.
Hey, I'm the one that's probably kind of more maybe disheartened regarding my son. I am maybe just worn out. So I was hoping you could make a suggestion.
Well, so tell me what's going on.
Well, he's very, very far away. But I think it's me. I think I'm just very, very tired. I can't really say more than that because I can't really
Because
get a
you
hold.
worry a bunch, or you stress out about it. Like what? Give me an idea of what's going on.
Well, I know he'll be homeless again in January.
Mhm.
So, and the fact that he really cannot seem to, I think he just is not able to. I think he might have really brain damage. I really do. Maybe that's my worry right there. I think that I just said it. And you really hate to say anything like that out loud. Let me see.
So you're wanting to pump up your energy levels, or what?
Yeah,
What are you
I
trying to
think,
do?
yeah, I'm the one that's pretty like flat. I can't really do anything even energetically that well for him right now. I think we're stalled. Stalled is a good word.
Yeah. Do you have galbanum?
I do.
So I would say for a little while, I'd like you to go like do the trifecta of taking a little bit internal, putting some on your wrist, and then inhaling it. Even put a little bit on your feet, maybe like a few drops on each foot or something.
Top or bottom? The feet, please.
Probably the bottom.
Bottom.
And it's a difficult situation. Yeah, I mean, you don't need me to say that, but like when you're looking at like, okay, how do I treat? It's not just that you're tired, you're dealing with a difficult situation and there's worries and you think about this and you're speculating about, what's going to happen when, and, it's a difficult situation.
Yes.
And I would say that you're also limited in the things that you can do, based on his drive to be independent and things like that. And so, there's might be some things you can do, but there's probably a lot that you would like to do, but you can't.
You're right. You're right. And
Mhm.
thank you for
Yeah,
getting that. I
yeah,
appreciate that.
yeah. And so the thing that you can do here is to be able to observe and watch, and then when there's an opportunity to be able to act on it, but at the same time not be exhausted constantly, like being vigilant about what can I do, you know.
Okay.
And so, like I would say, there is the thing, like galbanum would work, frankincense would work, aloes would work, but it's about being like overly intellectual, like overly trying to maintain something that's completely out of your control. You know, maybe not completely, but substantially, you know. And so for you, it doesn't mean that you're not going to think about it, you're not going to worry, but it's going to balance things out a bit more so that it's not like over the top. You know, like you can think about it and then be able to let go of it, you know. You might still think about it once a day, but still the ability to be go, okay, well, you know, there might be a time when I can help him, and you know, we'll just have to see. But
I realize he needs to be, he needs to want help. He needs to have,
I
and
agree.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
or be willing to receive it. How's that on any level,
Yeah.
which has not been the case.
Because all's that, like when somebody like this, when you keep trying to help, it just makes them distance themselves more or be a little bit more combative or rebellious. And so kind of the best thing you can do sometimes is just to be silent and just wait and watch, and you know, hope that he reaches out at some point, or at least be able to help if it gets really, you know, more serious. And so, you know, you got to be able to not lose yourself in the watching, you know. So the like very liberally use galbanum, frankincense would be the second choice, aloes would be the third choice, but any of them would work.
Okay, I have both, but did you say incense or just with the oils? Because I
Oils.
don't have aloes.
Well, if you have incense, you burn the incense too, but definitely inhaling, definitely topical, definitely internal.
Okay, and then would cistus be helpful? I do have a cistus, and then Uncle Bob incense. Those are the two I have. Would either be good?
Cistus could be a nice incense to burn. Yeah.
Okay, in my home.
But the topical stuff and all that, definitely galbanum or frankincense.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah,
Thanks.
you're so welcome.
I just
That's
needed a.
posted too.
Thank you. I'll be in your class this weekend. I'm looking forward
Oh,
to it.
good.
Thank you very much.
You're so welcome.
And then go ahead, Lolly, and then Deborah, if we have time.
Hey, so going back to what we talked in the beginning, Valerian, what I'm wondering about is I was actually using the Lady Sleeper Valerian tincture. We had it from one of the classes, and it's actually done, and I was planning to order it again. But then I realized that there's also the herbal sleep support tincture that also has Valerian and Lady Sleeper and a few other things. And I'm wondering what would be
And it's for you?
for me. Yeah.
I would get the lady slipper.
The ladies, okay, so
Yeah,
the essential oil combination.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like
So
I go back and forth, and like when I'm really wanting to sleep deeper, I do the lady slipper. When I'm just wanting to do maintenance, other people the sleep support works pretty good, but for me, like you're having similar issues that I do. So like I do the lady slipper. Yeah.
okay. Yeah, I've been using that just really to get myself
Sure.
more relaxed before with all the pains and
The more you
whatever.
can sleep, the better you'll do. I mean,
Yeah.
by far.
Okay. Okay, so I'll just order that again. Okay,
Yeah.
thank you. And then to follow up really quick on the sexual transmutation question, sex, heart, would you do that with an oil? Sex, heart, throat, crown?
You could. You don't need to, but you could. Like if you wanted to, you could use like Peru balsam. You could use bakul. You could even use ylang ylang.
Oh,
But
okay.
you know, things that move energy up like that, you know. Peru balsam and bakul do it the most, but ylang ylang still does it.
And would you do what, like 7 cycles of that, or just
Just till you feel good.
till
Yeah.
it's okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
You do one cycle really thoroughly, and you'll bliss out, and
Then you don't need,
you know what I
okay.
mean? So like
Yeah.
I would just say, you know, until you feel good.
Yeah, and either the front or the back.
For transmutation, either way. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, perfect. Thank you.
You're so
And then go ahead, Deborah, and then we'll go.
Hey.
Hi, Greg. Back to my whatever this is that I'm dealing with, the physical stuff. My
Mhm.
cough. Any recommendations for my cough?
I mean, cough wise, I mean, you could try using some hyssop. You could also use like mullein if you had it. Sometimes cypress would, but like you just look super congested. Like, and so part of the coughing is probably more congestion than anything. So that's why I didn't really go down that rabbit hole too much. Just like decongest a bunch.
Okay, so inhaling the hyssop will help the decongestion.
It would help with the cough a little bit. It would help with decongestion, but like that's even the idea with the salt baths. Like take some good salt baths for a little bit, and just decongest yourself for a little bit. Yeah.
Thank you.
All right, great Q&A tonight, guys.
So we're going to slide over to the Stara prayer petition blessing. Join us if you can. And thanks for hanging out. And again, another free class this weekend.